there's only 3 matches left, or 3 group matches left in the Women's T20 World Cup as of the time of this recording. But interestingly, there are 4 teams who can still in fact make it to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Now, of course, there's only 2 spots up for grabs and 4 teams, and those teams being South Africa, India, New Zealand and Pakistan, who are still up for contention to get those spots. So, of course, we thought that we'd actually fill you in and see where exactly each of these teams stand and what it is that they must do to actually qualify for the final 4. We'll start with the group 2, which features both India and Pakistan, with of course only one of those sides being able to currently qualify. So as things stand in this group, England have 6 points, having played 3 matches. They've won all of their games and they have sealed qualification for the semis because, again, of India and Pakistan, only 2 other teams know. Only India can get to 6 points, which means that England are very much through. This battle is for the 2nd spot, which India currently occupies with 4 points and a positive net run rate. But because Pakistan have a better net run rate and can get to the same number of points as India, well, that does make things just a little bit on the complicated side. Why exactly is that the case? Well, let's just take a look at this. For India, they're sitting 2nd in Group 2, and for them to make it, all they have to do is beat Ireland in their last group game, and that's it. They're through to the semi-finals pretty much regardless of what happens thereafter. However, if they lose this match, then they're most likely going to be out of the World Cup. And I mean, they still could qualify basis of course, if Pakistan lose their last match. But if they lose this match, they are going to be staring down the barrel of elimination. So for India, the task really is simple: win and you're in. It's that simple for the women in blue. And they'll be taking on Ireland today. That is, of course, Monday, February 20th. And if they can get the job done against Ireland, that's it. They, along with England, are through to the semi-finals. But what is it that Pakistan have to do? Well, it's never simple with Pakistan. You remember earlier this year in the 2022 Men's T20 World Cup, Pakistan needed some astronomical things to go their way. And somehow it actually did happen and they made it to the semis too. So it's a similar situation for the women's team because they are very much in need of another Qudrat ka Nizam. They are currently sitting 4th in the 2nd group and they can actually qualify still, amazingly. And that is, their route to qualification is not that simple though, because not only must they beat England in their match, and I can remind you that because they have a far superior net run rate, it needn't even be a big win. But even if they beat England by a massive margin, it won't matter if India managed to beat Ireland in that final group stage match. So for Pakistan, it's a little complicated because not only do they have to beat England, they then have to hope that the one other match in that group, that is the game between India and Ireland, goes the way of Ireland. So again, as I said, with Pakistan, they never tend to make it easy on themselves. They do more often than not tend to get into situations where they're requiring some form of miracles, where they'll have to beat an England team who are very much on top of their game, and then hope that India end up losing to an Ireland side who, respectfully, India should be beating quite convincingly. So it's a bit of a complicated situation, but if you remember what happened in the 2022 World Cup, you will know that stranger things can very well happen, especially when it comes to the Pakistan cricket team. Now, let's go over to the other group where things are a little more clear-cut than this. So it's really simple for a lot of the teams. If you're looking at Group 1, Australia are not only through to the semi-finals, they are through as group toppers because they played 4 matches and they won 4 matches. So no one can match them with 8 points. Right now, New Zealand are the favorites to meet them, or rather, New Zealand are the other team who are in pole position to qualify for the semis. But just because they're 2nd, you shouldn't let that fool you, because they've played all 4 of their matches, as have Sri Lanka, who, mind you, despite having 4 points, are out of contention due to a terrible net run rate of minus 1.460. So the only team who can actually spoil New Zealand's party are South Africa. And how exactly can that happen? Well, we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about what it's like for New Zealand. Now, New Zealand are currently 2nd in Group 1. But as I pointed out earlier, they don't have any more matches to play. They've played their 4 matches. They've gotten 4 points. They've done everything it is that they possibly could have. There's no more matches for them. So all they need to do to ensure that they make it to the semis is, well, hope and pray that somehow South Africa lose to Bangladesh. Now again, that might seem like a bit of a stretch considering this is a Bangladesh team who are currently sitting bottom of the group. But again, as I say, stranger things have happened, which is why when you're looking at what the situation is for South Africa, you'll realize that it is definitely a lot simpler for them. So Sunilus and co have it really easy for their qualification scenarios. Let's quickly go over it for them. They are currently 4th in Group 1. Now, being 4th would normally make it seem like you have a long shot, but they actually don't. All they have to do is beat Bangladesh, and that's it. They're through to the semi-finals because they have a better net run rate to that of New Zealand's right now. So even if they get a very close win, they'll be level on points. And what's more important is they will also end up getting the ahead of New Zealand with a superior net run rate. That is the key part. The net run rate is really important here because currently New Zealand do not have a good net run rate, whereas South Africa, well, they very much do. So for South Africa, the equation is simple. All they have to do is beat Bangladesh and they're through to the semi-finals. So as I said, it's pretty close, and that's why, that's the beauty really of this format as such, that truth be told, it can actually, swing really either way for any of these teams. But you can say that there are two very clear favorites when it comes to the qualifying for the semi-finals. South Africa definitely have it really easy, as do India. Both of these teams would actually be favorites for, making it through to the next round of the tournament. All they have to do is ensure that they get the simple results. It's always better to have your fate in your own hands rather than be reliant on where it is that other teams will be doing or what it is that they'll be doing, and hoping and praying that their results go their way. So for India, win and they're in. Same with South Africa, win and they're in. New Zealand and Pakistan are really reliant on other results to go their way. But as I said, cricket is a funny game and stranger things have happened. Now, what do you guys think? Who do you think would be favorites to go through? And do you think we could see any upsets? Well, you can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment as well, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Last but not least, download the AajTak app. You'll get all of the live coverage, not just from the Women's T20 World Cup, but coverage from all over the world of sports right at the tip of your finger. So what are you waiting for? Download the app. Thank you once again for joining us here. If you're on the channel already, please go ahead and check out some other videos we may have done. For now though, from my side, goodbye.